Hello, so time for my June wrap up. Looking at my pile of books, I haven't actually read this that much this month, which I don't understand, but let's go. So, I read Amanda Palmer's The Art of Asking. I have already done a review of this, which I will link down below. This is basically Amanda Palmer's sort of memoir / self-help book sort of thing. Very good read for people who are interested in going into a career in the arts and how you go about that, and it's very interesting generally. I think even somebody not necessarily interested in art would appreciate this, but definitely good for those artistic individuals. I loved it. Then I read Castle in the Air by Diana Wynne Jones. I didn't love this. This is the sort of sequel to Howl's Moving Castle. I think the reason I didn't love this is because I've never read a sequel that it's completely different. Like, characters do feature, but they don't come in until the end. And that was more fun once I sort of was with the characters I already knew again. But this is a completely different story, and I just didn't completely love it. It's very much based on sort of Arabian Nights. It very much reminded me of Aladdin. It's basically about this boy, Abdullah, who is working as a carpet merchant. When he gets sold a magic carpet, he then falls asleep on the magic carpet and wakes up in this garden, and there is a beautiful princess there, and trouble ensues from there. It's a bit of an adventure journey. There's a magic genie involved, etc, etc. But it didn't blow me away, and I didn't love it half as much as I did love Howl's Moving Castle. Then I read the Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa. This is an amazing, beautiful thing. As you can see, I never tab books, but I have tabbed so much, and I could have tabbed more. Unfortunately, as you can probably see by my tabbing, I got ill. So for this section of the book, I was really ill and just didn't really know what was going on. And I think this is definitely the wrong book to read in that situation. I would also possibly recommend reading it, sort of picking it up here and there rather than reading it straight through like I did, which was still good, but I think I probably would have enjoyed it and savoured it more if I'd just read an extract here and there. Basically, this was published after Pessoa's death, and it was basically just a sort of load of writing that was found in a chest in his room. And it's pretty much just like journaling. It's sort of his thoughts of life and stuff like this. He is an alter ego in this called Bernardo Soares, but apparently he had alter egos and sort of poetic personalities, and this was one of them. And it's the only thing I would say is that it's not published. I mean, a lot of them they don't know the dates for, but some of them they do, and it's not published in any chronological order. I think the publishing order was sort of in order of sort of extracts that were on the same themes, but I don't necessarily even know that. So the order sort of threw me a bit because I was trying to read it in sort of I wanted a story out of it, and I think that was wrong. It's just beautiful in its own right, and every extract is amazing, which is why I say it's probably better to read it just here and there rather than straight through. I'm actually going to read you one of the extracts that I have tabbed, because the writing in this is just absolutely spectacular. I could just read it all again right now. God created me to be a child and left me to be a child forever. But why did he let life beat me and take away my toys and leave me alone at playtime to crumple up in feeble hands and blue pinafore streaked with tear stains? Since I cannot live without affection, why was that affection taken from me? Whenever I see a child in the street crying, a child exiled from the others, it hurts me more than the sadness of the child I see in the unsuspected horror of my exhausted heart. I hurt in every inch of my lived life, and the hands crumpling the hem of the pinafore, the mouth twisted by real tears, the weakness and the solitude are all mine, and the laughter of passing adults is like the flame of a match struck on the sensitive tinder of my own heart. And then the next extract is just a short one, so I'll read you that as well. Like a child, breathing hard, who stops running and leaves behind him the sound of small feet pounding hard on the ground. I mean, as you can probably tell, it's not cheery. It's very much sort of his sort of dull outlook on life and death and everything else, but it just completely struck a chord with me. Also, there's a few extracts in here that are a bit longer, so I won't read them out, but they're about his relationships with people and stuff, and they were just spot on for me. I just adored it. I would definitely be rereading this throughout my life and using it just as a crutch from now on. Then I picked up, this is a library read, and it is a graphic novel, Shortcomings by Adrian Tamine. Gotta say, I wouldn't recommend this before I start this review. I did not enjoy it very much. I picked it up, I've never heard of it. I picked it up purely because it was the only sort of non-comic book graphic novel that my library seemed to have. All the others sort of Marvel comics and things like that, which aren't really my cup of tea. I will show you the artwork because, you know, it's quite plain. I mean, there's nothing special about it. It's all black and white. This is basically, I just didn't, like, even the plot I didn't like at all. It's about a couple who are both Asian, and the man has a preoccupation with white women. He's always attracted to white women, and he's just not interested in his partner. He's always getting his head turned by white women, and it's just about the breakdown of their relationship and his delving into that race issue that he is almost ashamed to be Asian. But I just felt it was unnecessary. I felt it was a bit of a touchy subject, saying that he was really into white women and wasn't interested in Asian women. And I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me. I didn't like the themes and I didn't like the way they were discussed. So, sorry. Then, finally, I read I Captured the Castle by Dodie Smith, which has been sitting on my shelf for a lot longer than I anticipated it would be, because I was really looking forward to this one. Have to say, my review of this isn't as shining as the reviews I've already heard on it. I've never heard a bad thing about this book. It's okay. It's basically about, we follow a girl called Cassandra Mortmain. It's her diary, basically. And she lives in a castle, like a dilapidated castle, with her sister, her brother, her dad, and his wife, and also a boy called Stephen, who is just there sort of hired help that they don't pay or anything. He just lives with them. And they're in complete poverty, and some American men arrive in town who are quite rich, and obviously things go from there. The two daughters are sort of, you know, involved, and engagements happen and so forth and so such. This is very Jane Austen. If you enjoy Jane Austen and Emma and things like that, you will enjoy this. I have to say, for me, it was just slightly lacking. Everybody is so glowing about this book and says it's absolutely amazing. For me, not much happened. It was a bit slow. It took me quite a while to get through, and it's not the thickest book. And I wouldn't rush to read it again. I'm glad I did read it, but I didn't absolutely love it. It was just a bit lacking for me. I did watch the film as well last night, to see if I got a bit more out of it, but again, I found it quite lacking. I just didn't love it, sadly. But that was everything for this month. Obviously not the best reading month. I don't know why. I feel like I've been reading a lot, but it just hasn't translated. But there we go. It might be because I was ill for a while as well, and Capture the Castle took me a long time. So there we go. Bye bye.